Humble Fish by S.C. Hinton. Chapter 1. I ran into Steve a couple days ago. He was really surprised to see me. We hadn't seen each other for a long time. I was sitting on the beach and he came up to me and said, "Rusty James?" I said, "Yeah," because I didn't recognize him right off. My memory screwed up some. "It's me," he said. "It's Steve Hayes." Then I remembered and got up, brushing sand off. "Hey, yeah. What are you doing here?" he kept saying, looking at me like he couldn't believe it. "I live here," he said. "What are you doing here?" "I'm on vacation. I'm going to college here." "Yeah?" I said. "You going to college? What are you going to college for?" "I'm going to teach when I get out. High school, probably." "I can't believe it. I never thought I'd see you again, and here of all places." I figured I had as much a chance of being here as he did, even if we were a long way from where we'd seen each other last. People get excited over the weirdest things. I wondered why I wasn't glad to see him. "You're going to be a teacher, huh?" I said. I figured. He was always reading and stuff. "What do you do here?" he asked. "Nothing but bum around," I answered. "Bumming around is a real popular profession here. You can paint, write, barkeep, or bum around. I tried barkeeping once and didn't like it much." "Lord, Rusty James," he said. "How long has it been now?" I thought for a minute and said, 5 or 6 years. Math had never been my strong point. "How did you get here?" He just couldn't seem to get over it. "Me and a friend of mine, Alex, a guy I met in the reformatory, we just started knocking around after we got out. We've been here for a while." "No kidding." Steve hadn't changed much. He looked about the same, except for the mustache that made him look like a kid going to a Halloween party. But a lot of people are growing mustaches these days. I never went in for them myself. "How long were you in for?" he asked. "I never found out. We moved, right after." 5 years, I said. I can't remember much about it. Like I said, my memory's all screwed up some. If somebody says something to remind me, I can remember things. But I'm left alone in that, but I don't seem to be able to. Sometimes Alex will say something that brings back the reformity, but mostly he don't. He don't like remembering it either. "They put me in solitary once," I said, because Steve seemed to be waiting for something. He looked at me strangely and said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He was staring at the scar that runs down my side. It looks like a raised white line. I don't get tan either. "I got in a knife fight," I told him. "A long time ago." "I know. I was there." "Yeah," I said. "You were." For a second, I remembered the fight. It was like seeing a movie of it. Steve glaring away for a second. I could tell he was trying not to look for the other scars. They're not real noticeable, but they're not that hard to see either, if you know where to look. "Hey," he said, too sudden, like he was trying to change the subject. "I want you to meet my girlfriend. She won't believe it. I haven't seen you since we were 13, 14? I don't know, though." He gave me a look that was half kidding and half serious. "You leave other guys' chicks alone." "Yeah," I said. "I got a girl. Or 2 or 3. Just one," I said. "I like to keep things simple, and God knows even one can get complicated enough." "Let's meet for dinner somewhere," he said. "We could talk about the good old days, man." I have come so far since then. I didn't stop him from naming a time and a place, even though I didn't much want to talk about the good old days. I didn't even remember them. "Rusty James?" he was saying. "You gave me a real scare when I first saw you. I thought I'd flipped out. You know who I thought you were for a second?" My stomach clenched itself into a fist, and an old fear started creeping up my backbone. "You know who you look just like?" "Yeah," I said, and remembered everything. I could have been really glad to see old Steve if he hadn't made me remember everything. Chapter 2. I was hanging out in Bendy's playing pool when I heard Biff Wallace was looking to kill me. Benny's was a hangout for the junior high kids, and high schoolers used to go there. But when the younger kids moved in, they moved out. Benny was pretty mad about it. Junior high kids don't have much money to spend. He couldn't do much about it except hate the kids, though. If a place gets marked as a hangout, That's it. Steve was there, and BJ Jackson, and Smokey Bennett, and some other guys. I was playing pool with Smokey. I was probably winning since I'm a pretty good pool player. Smokey was hacked off because he already owed me money. He was glad to see Mid get me and said, Biff is looking for you, Rusty James. I missed my shot. I ain't hiding. I stood there, leaning on my cue, knowing good and well it wasn't going to be about to finish the game. I can't think about two things at the same time. He says he's going to kill you. Midget was a tall, skinny kid, taller than anyone else our age. That's why we call him Midget. Saying ain't doing, I said. Smokey was put his cue away. If is a mean cat, Rusty James, he told me. He ain't so tough. What's he shook about anyway? Something he said to Anta at school, Midget said. Shoot, I don't remember anything. I don't remember nothing but the truth. I told them what I said to Anta. BJ and Smokey agreed that it was the truth. Steve and Midget turned red. Hell, I said. Now what does he have to go and get shook over something like that? I got annoyed. It's when people want to kill me for some stupid little reason. Something big, and I don't mind it so much. I went up to the corner and got a chocolate milk. I always drink chocolate milk instead of Coke or something. That Coke got junk all rot your insides. They gave me a little time to think things over. Benny was making a big production out of the sandwich. He let me know that he wasn't going to drop what he was doing and rush over with my chocolate milk. So what's he doing about it? Killing me, I mean? I sat down in the booth and Midget slid in across from me. Everybody else gathered around. He wants you to meet him in the vacant lot behind the pet store. Alright, I guess he's coming alone, huh? I wouldn't count on it, Smokey said. He was trying to let me know he was on my side, so I'd forgot about our messed up pool game. If he's bringing friends, I'm bringing friends. I wasn't afraid of fighting Biff, but I didn't see any need to be stupid about it. Yeah, but you know how that's going to turn out, Steve put in. Everybody will end up getting into it, and bringing people who brings people. Steve was always cautious about things. You think I'm going to that empty lot by myself? You're nuts, I told him. But, look, me and Biff will settle this thing ourselves. You guys will just be an audience, huh? Ain't nothing wrong with an audience. You know it ain't gonna end up like that. Steve was 14 like me. He looked 12. He acted 40. He was my best friend, though, so he could say stuff and I wouldn't let anybody else get away with it. Damn it, Rusty James, we haven't had any trouble like that for a long time now. He was scared it was going to end up with the gang fights. There hadn't been a real honest, good-ass gang fighter around here for 5 years. As far as I knew, Steve had never been in one. I could never understand people being scared over things they never knew about. You don't have to be there, I said. Everybody else had to be there to protect the rep. Steve didn't have any rep. He was my best friend. That was his rep. I know I'm going to be there, he said to me angrily. But you know what a motorcycle boy said about the gang. He ain't here, I said. He ain't been here for 2 weeks. So don't go telling me about the motorcycle boy. BJ spoke up. But even back when was rumbling, we never fought Bev's gang. They was allies. Remember when Wilson got jumped over on the Takers turf? This started a discussion on who had been jumped, when and where and why. I didn't need to think about that. I had all those records straight in my head anyway. But I don't need to think about how I was going to fight Bev. So I wasn't listening much when somebody said, anyway, when the motorcycle boy gets back, I jumped up and slammed my fist down. It hit so hard the table in the next booth rattled, and Benny stopped whistling and making his sandwich. Everybody else sat like they were holding their breath. The motorcycle boy ain't back, I said. I can't see good when I get mad, and my voice was shaky. I don't know when he's coming back, if he's coming back. or if you want to wait around the rest of your life to see what he says. Okay? But I'm not going to stop with Phyllis's guts tonight. And I think I ought to have some friends there. We'll be there, Smokey said. He stared at me with those funny, colorless eyes that gave him his nickname. But let's try and keep it between you two, okay? I couldn't see anything because I was too mad. I walked out and slammed the door behind me. In about 5 seconds, I heard footsteps behind me, and I didn't turn around because I knew it would be Steve. What's the matter with you? He said. Give me a cigarette. You know I don't have any cigarettes. And I forgot. I hunted around and found one in my shirt pocket. What's wrong? Steve asked again. Nothing's wrong. Is it the motorcycle boy being gone? Don't start in on me, I said. He kept quiet for a few minutes. He'd pestered me once before when he shouldn't have, and I pushed the wind out of him. I was real sorry after that. It wasn't my fault. He should have known better than to pester me when I'm mad. Finally, he said, Slow down, will ya? You're rushing my legs off. I stopped. We were on the bridge, right where the motorcycle boy used to stop to wash the water. I threw my cigarette butt into the river. It was full of trash and litter. More wasn't going to hurt it anyway. You've been acting funny ever since the motorcycle boy left. He's been gone before, I said. I get mad quick, and I get over it quick. Not for this long. 2 weeks? That ain't long. Maybe he's gone for good. Shut up, will ya? I said. I closed my eyes. I'd been out till 4 in the morning and the night before, and I was kind of tired. This is a crummy neighborhood, Steve said suddenly. It ain't the slums, I told him, keeping my eyes shut. That there's worse places. I don't say it was the slums. I don't say it was a crummy neighborhood. And it is. If you don't like it, move. I am. Someday I am. I am. Someday I am. I quit listening. I don't see any sense in thinking about things far in the future. I have to face the fact that the motorcycle boy will be gone for good. I don't have to face nothing, I said tiredly. He sighed and stared down at the river. I saw a rabbit once at a zoo. That old man took me there on the bus a long time ago. I really liked that zoo. I tried to go again by myself, but I was a little kid, and I got lost when I had to change the buses. I never did get any around to trying to get there again, but I remembered it pretty good. The animals remembered me as people. Steve looked like a rabbit, and he had dark blonde hair and dark brown eyes and a face like a real sincere rabbit. He was smarter than me. I ain't never been a particularly smart person, but I get along all right. I wondered why Steve was my best friend. I let him hang around and keep people from beating him up and listen to all his worries. God, did that kid worry about things. I did all that for him, and sometimes he did my math homework and let me copy his history stuff, so I never flunked a grade. But I don't care about flunking, so that wasn't why he was my best friend. Maybe it was because I had known him longer than I know anybody I wasn't related to. For a tough kid, I had a bad habit of getting attached to people. Chapter 3. When Steve had to go home, I went to my girlfriend's place. I knew she'd be home because her mother was a nurse and worked nights, and Patty had to take care of her little brothers. I'm not supposed to have company when Mother's out. She stood there blocking the doorway, not making a move to let me in. Since when? Since a long time ago. Well, that ain't stopped me before, I said. She was mad about something. She wanted to start a fight. She wasn't mad about me coming over when I wasn't supposed to, but that was what she wanted to fight about. It seemed like whenever we had fights, it was over nothing. It was never over what she was mad about. I haven't seen you in a long time, she said coldly. I've been busy, so I heard. Oh, come on, I said. Let's talk about it inside. She looked at me for a long time, then held the door open. I knew she would. She was crazy about me. We sat and watched TV for a while. Patty's little brothers took turns jumping up and down on the only other chair in the room. What are you busy with? Nothing, messing around. Me and Smokey and his cousin went out to the lake. Oh yeah? Did you take any girls with you? What are you talking about? Take any girls? No. Okay, she said, settling down in my arms. When we started making out, one of the brats started yelling, I'm gonna tell Mama, until I promised to knock off his block off. But after that, I just sat there holding her and sometimes kissed her on the top of her head. She had blonde hair with dark roots. I like blonde girls. I don't care how they get that way. Rusty James, she said. I jumped. Was I asleep? The room was dark, except for the black and white glare from the TV. Is it morning or night? I was confused. I still felt like I was asleep for something. Night, boy. You've, you've been great company. I felt shivery. Then I remembered. What time is it? 7:30. Hell, I said, getting up. I was supposed to fight with Folkson at 8. And you got anything to drink around here? I went to the kitchen and hunt through the refrigerator. I found a can of beer and I gulped it down. Now Mama will think I drank it. Thanks a lot. She sounded like she was going to cry. What's the matter, honey? I said. You said you were going to quit fighting all the time. Since when? Since you beat up Skip handily? You promised me you wouldn't be fighting all the time. Oh, yeah. Well, this ain't all the time. This is just once. You always say that. She was crying. I backed her up against the wall and hugged her a while. Love you, babe, I said, and turned her loose. I wish you wouldn't fight all the time. I wish you wouldn't fight all the time. She wasn't crying anymore. She could quit crying the easiest of any girl I knew. Well, what about you? I asked. You took after Judy McGee with the brushed pop bottle not so long ago. She was flirting with you, she said. Patty was a hellcat sometimes. Ain't my fault, I said. I grabbed my jacket on the way to the door and stopped and gave her a goodbye kiss. Pretty little thing. She looked like a dandelion with her hair messed up. Be careful, she said. I love you. I waved goodbye and jumped off the porch. I thought maybe I'd had the time to stop and buy my place and have a good swing of wine, but going to by Benny's, I saw everybody waiting around for me, so I went in. There were more people than I had there been in the afternoon. I guess the word had gotten around. We just about give up on you, Smokey said. Better watch out or I'll take you on for a warm-up. I warned him. I counted the guys and decided maybe 6 of them would show up at the lot. I didn't see Steve, but didn't worry about it. He couldn't get out much at night. Spilled up and meet me there, I told them, or we'll have the cops on our tail. I left with Smokey and BJ. I felt so good. I love fights. I love how I feel before a fight, kind of high, like I can do anything. Slow down, BJ said. You better be saving your energy. If he wasn't so fat, I could keep up. Don't start with that stuff again, BJ said. He was fat, but he was tough too. Tough fat guys ain't as rare as you think. Man, this is just like the old days, ain't it? I said. I wouldn't now, Smokey said. Fights made him edgy. Before I fight, he'd get quieter and quieter. And I always bugged the hell out of him that I'd get louder and louder. We had a funny kind of tension between us anyway. He would have been #1 tough cat in the neighborhood if it wasn't for me. Sometimes I could tell he was thinking about fighting me. So far, either he was scared or wanted to stay friends. Yeah, I said. That's alright. It was all over before you got into it. Hell, that gang stuff was out of style when you were 10 years old, Rusty James. He told me. 11. I can remember it. I was in the Little Leaguers. Little Leaguers was the Pee-wee branch of the local gang, the Packers. Gang stuff was out of style now. Man, I said, that gang really meant something back then. Meant getting sent to the hospital once a week. Okay, so he was edgy. So was I. I was the one doing the fighting after all. We are almost talking chicken, Smokey, I said. I'm almost talking sense. I kept quiet. It took a lot of self-control, but I kept quiet. Smokey got nervous. Since quiet ate my natural state. Look it, he said. I'm going, ain't I? I guess the thought that he was really going made him brave again, 'cause he went on. If you think this is gonna turn out to be a rumble, you're crazy. And you and Biff are gonna go at it, and the rest of us is gonna watch. I doubt Manny's gonna show up for that much. Sure, I said, only half listening to him. We had come to the pet store. We turned into an alley that ran alongside of it, crawled through a hole in the back of the fence, and out into our vacant lot that led right down to the river. The lot was a dump and it stank. The area around here always stinks from that river, but it's worse in the lot. Further down, a bunch of plants and factories dump their garbage into your water. You don't notice the stink if you live there for a while. It's just extra strong in that lot. Smokey was right. Only 4 of the guys who were in Benny's were there waiting for us. BJ looked around and said, I thought Steve was going to be here too. He said it's sarcastic. They never could understand why I let Steve hang around. So maybe he's late, he said. I didn't really expect him to show up, except that he said he would. Across the field was Biff and his gang. I counted them, just like the motorcycle boy taught me to. Now everything we can about the enemy. There were 6, even enough. I was getting so high on excitement I couldn't stand still. Rusty James! It was Biff coming across the lot to meet me. Oh man, I couldn't wait. I was going to stomp him good. It seemed like my fists ached to be pounded something. I'm here, I called. Not for long, you punk, Biff said. He was close enough for me to see him clearly. My ears getting super sharp before a fight. Everything gets super sharp before a fight. Like, with a little effort, I could fly. During a fight, though, I almost go blind. Everything turns red. Biff was 16, but not any bigger than a husky. His arms hung off his shoulders like an ape's. He was a ugly face and wiry blonde hair. He was dancing around worse than I was. He's been popping pills, Smokey said behind me. Now I hate fighting hopped up people. They're crazy. You get crazy enough to fight in without being doped out. You fight some cat who's been lost down bunnies and seeking food, and they can't tell if you kill them. Your only advantage is a little more control. I only do dope as a rude drug ruined the gangs. Biff looked high. The light from the street lamps was bouncing off his eyes in a way that made him look crazy. I hear you're looking for me, he said. Here I am. I've done this lots of times before. I'd get in a fight about once a week. I hadn't lost a fight in almost 2 years, but Biff was a little tougher than the usual kid. If the gang wars had still been going on, he would have been the leader of Evil Hawks. He didn't look like anybody to forget that either. You can't take it for granted. You're gonna stump him, some snotty-nosed 7th grader. So when you go up against somebody like Biff Wilcox, you can't think about it. We started in a warm-up, cussing each other out, calling names, threats. This was according to the rules. I don't know who made up the rules. Come on, I said, finally. I like to get down to business. Take a swing at me. Take a swing at you? His hand went to his back pocket and came out flashing silver. I'm gonna cut your ribbons. I didn't have a knife with me. Most people don't knife fight these days. I usually carry a switchblade, but I got caught with it at school, and they took it away from me, and I hadn't gotten around to getting another one. Biff should have told me it was going to be a knife fighting. God, that made me mad. People don't pay attention to the rules anymore. His friends were cheering and screaming, and my friends were grumbling. And I said, anybody gonna lend me a blade? I still thought I could win. Biff wouldn't have pulled the knife if he thought he could win a fair fight. All I had to do was eat the things up, and nobody had a knife. That's what comes. Oh God. That what comes of not doing fighting. People were never prepared. Somebody said, "Here's a bike chain," and I held back my hand for it, never taking my eyes off Biff. Just like I expected, he tried to make the most of the moment, laughing at me. I was quick enough, though, grabbing the chain, dodging the knife, and sticking out my foot to trip him. He was just stubbed and rolled around, jabbing me. I sucked in my gut and wrapped the chain around his neck, jerking him to the ground. All I wanted to do was get the knife away from him. I'd kill him later. First things first, I jumped on top of him, caught his arms, and swung the knife at me. And for that, what seemed like an hour of wrestled for that knife, I took a risk and thought it was worth taking and tried holding his knife hand with one arm and used the other to smash his face. It worked. He loosened his hold on the knife long enough to get him away from him. It, I fell It fell a few feet away from us, far enough away so that I didn't bother trying to reach for it, which was good. If I had gotten hold of it, I'd have killed Biff. As it was, I was pounding his brains out. If he'd give up on that damn knife, he might have stood a chance. He was older than me and just as tough, but he didn't come there to fight fair. So instead of fighting back, he just kept trying to get away and crawl over to the knife. Gradually, I started to calm down. The red tingle tinged everything went away. I could hear someone screaming and yelling. I looked at Biff. His whole face was bloody and swollen. "You give?" I sat back on his gut and waited. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. He didn't say anything, just lay there breathing heavily, watching me out of one eye that wasn't swollen shut. Everybody was quiet. I could feel his gang tensed, ready like a dog pack about to set loose. One move from Biff wouldn't do it. I glanced over at Smokey. He was ready. My gang would fight, even if they weren't crazy about the idea. Then a voice I knew said, "Hey, what's this? I thought you signed a treaty." The motorcycle boy was back. People cleared a path for him. Everybody was quiet. I got to my feet. Biff rolled over to lay a few feet away from me, swearing. "I thought we'd stop this cowboys and Indians crap." Said the motorcycle boy. I heard Biff dragging himself to his feet, but didn't pay any attention. Usually I'm not that stupid, but I couldn't take my eyes off the motorcycle boy. I thought he was gone for good, and I was almost sure that he was gone for good. "Look out!" somebody screamed. I whipped around and felt the knife slide down my side, cold. It was meant to split me open from the throat to gut, but I had moved just in time. It didn't hurt. You can't feel a knife cut at first. Biff stood a few feet away from me, laughing like a maniac. He was whipped in blood off the blade and was already splattered t-shirt. "You are one dead cat, Rusty James." His voice was thick and funny sounding because of his swollen nose. He wasn't dancing around anymore. You can tell by the way he moved he was hurting, but at least he was on his feet, and I wouldn't be much longer. I was cold and everything looked watery around the edges. It'd been knife cut before. I knew what it felt like to be bleeding bad. The motorcycle boy stepped out, grabbed Biff's wrist, and snapped it backwards. You can hear it crack like a matchstick. It was broke for sure. The motorcycle boy picked up Biff's switchblade and looked at the blood running down over the handle. Everybody was frozen. They knew what it had said about gang fighting being over with. "I think," he said thoughtfully, "that the show was over." Biff held his wrist with his other arm. He was swearing, but softly, under his breath. The others were leaving, breaking up into twos and threes, edging away, even quieter than you ever see people have a bad look around. Steve was there beside me. "You okay?" "When did you get here?" Smokey asked him. Then, to me, he said, "You're hurt, man." The motorcycle boy stood behind them, tall and dark like a shadow. "I thought you were gone for good," I said. He shrugged. "So did I." Steve picked up my jacket where I'd thrown it to the ground. Mr. James, you better go to a hospital. I looked down at my hand where I was clutching my side. I saw Smokey Bennett watching me. For this? I said scornfully. This ain't nothing. But maybe you better go home, the motorcycle boy said. I nodded. I threw an arm across Steve's shoulders. I knew he was gonna show up. He knew I would have fallen down if I wasn't leaning on him, but he didn't show it. He was a good kid, Steve, even if he did read too much. I had to sneak out, Steve said. They'd kill me if they knew. Boy, I thought Biff was gonna kill you. Not me. It was Biff who was gonna get killed. I could feel the motorcycle boy laughing, but then I never escaped to fool him. I tried not to learn on Steve too much. Smokey walked along with us until we came to his block. I guess I had convinced him I wasn't going to drop dead. Where you been? I asked the motorcycle boy. He'd been gone for 2 weeks. He had stolen a cycle and left. Everybody called him the motorcycle boy because he's crazy about motorcycles. It was like a title or something. I was probably one of the few people on the block who knew his real name. What his real name was. He had a bad habit of borrowing cycles and going for rides without telling the owner, but that was just one of the things he could get away with. He couldn't get away with anything. He could get away with anything. You'd think he'd have a cycle of his own by now, but he never had and never would. It seemed like he didn't want to own anything. California, he said. No kidding. I was amazed. The ocean and everything? How was it? Kid, he said to me. I never got past the river. I didn't understand what he meant. I spent a lot of time trying to understand what he meant. It was like the time years ago when our gang of Packers was having a big rumble with the gang next door. The motorcycle boy, he was president, said, "Okay, let's get straight. What we're fighting for." And everybody was all set to kill or be killed, raring to go. And some cat, I forget his name, he's in prison now, said, "We're fighting to own the street." The motorcycle boy said, "Bull, we're fighting for fun." He always said things different from everybody else. It wouldn't help me a lot if I could understand what he meant. He climbed up the wooden stairs and went up the outside of the dry cleaners to our apartment. Steve eased me into the platform railing. I hung over the railing and said, "I ain't got my key." So the motorcycle boy jammed the lock, and we went on in. "You better lay down," he said. I laid down on the coat. We had a mattress and a cot to lay down on. We had a mattress and a cot to lay down on.